All right, so this week in the class, we're going to discuss market segmentation. But before we get into market segmentation, I wanted to review the assignments that will be due for this week as well as next week's class. Um, First thing is the Module 5 knowledge check. No one mentioned that they couldn't see it over the past couple of weeks, and I didn't pay attention until yesterday when I was grading the papers that it may have been hidden from you for the past couple of weeks. So, because it was hidden from you the past couple of weeks, I'm going to give you until tomorrow evening at 11:59 to complete the Module 5 knowledge check. I did make it available, I want to say yesterday morning, but if you didn't really look at it, you probably didn't see it out there or didn't check for it. So, again, Module 5 knowledge check is due tomorrow evening by 11:59 p.m. Now, the assignments that are due for April 11th at 11:59 p.m. are the Module 6 knowledge check, as well as the Module 6-2 reflection assignment for market segmentation. So that's all due on April 11th at 11:59 p.m. Next week, we're going to be discussing product development, and you'll have two assignments that will be due on April 18th by 11:59 p.m. The first one, which some students have already started to work on and handed in, is the Module 6-1 Marketing Concepts Newsletter Report. And then the second assignment is the Module 7 Project Final Submission. Before you submit it to ePortfolio, submit it through Blackboard first. And that's all due by April 18th by 11:59 p.m. Are there any questions? All right, to get to the Module 6 reflection, you go to Modules in Blackboard for this class, Module 6 segmentation, assignments, and it's there. You're expected to have at least 150 words in that reflection. And then again, you have the two knowledge checks. Module 5 will be due April 6th by 11:59 p.m. and Module 6 will be due by 11:59 p.m. on April 11th. If there are no questions, we'll get started with the discussion for this week. As we learned last week during the class session, that market research will assist us in fully understanding a consumer's need. Once we know the consumer's needs, we can't just go ahead and create a successful strategy. We also need to ensure we are reaching the right audience. In this week's class, we're going to be building upon what we learned previously, and then we're also going to learn how to segment or to break down the overall consumer base so that we can choose which customers our product would apply to. Once we know who falls into the market that we're in, we can then target those customers accordingly and position the product to fit their needs, which can be found when conducting a market research. Generally, there's no one size fit all marketing plan when it comes to doing different market campaigns because our consumers have different wants and needs. We can't just use a blank marketing campaign to try to cover all of the consumers because it won't address any of the specific needs or wants that they may have. To ensure that we are addressing the wants and needs properly, we segment all of the markets. Market segmentation, the definition for that is the process that marketers go through to break to understand prospective consumers or to break them down into different consumer groups. These groups are going to share similar needs and will respond similarly to a marketing action. Just think about a promotional email or spam mail that you recently received from a store that you may have shopped at, or you may have shopped at online, or shopped at physically in the store. If you notice the message resonates to you as a buyer and has some type of call to action that you would complete if you were in the mood to make a purchase. That marketing message was specifically tailored to you because a marketer designed the email and came up with the call to action for that market segment that you were included in. Even though there was a time when you could mass market, or companies can mass market, you can't do that any longer. Just think of the company Tide, or the brand Tide, as a good example of a product that was previously mass marketed, but it's no longer mass marketed. At one point, Tide's marketing strategy was very impactful and appropriate for all consumers. However, due to economic recessions and the shrinking of the middle class, Tide no longer sees success in that mass market approach. Tide now has a two-pronged marketing strategy where product differentiation with products, it's aimed towards, you have your high income families, and then you have products geared towards low income families. So there are three different types of segmentation strategies that we're going to review. One is the one product with multiple segments. The second one is the multiple products with multiple segments. And then the third one is the mass customization. It's very important to know that it's only valuable to segment when potential sales of segmentation surpass the expenses to do so. So you don't want to just segment a market, or segment a product, and you're not receiving the profits that you want to receive. So with the first strategy, the one product with multiple segments, this segmentation strategy occurs when a business only produces one product and has to sell it to different segments with different needs. It's more cost effective to only design and develop one product. The only additional cost will be the promotional campaigns or new distribution channels. So here are two examples of strategy one. The first one being Netflix. Netflix is a sole product, yet there are so many markets that use it. There are no movies, or there are movies and TV shows for viewers of all ages, with the ability to customize the different platforms based off of your viewing habits or your viewing needs. They also include filters to make streaming suitable for children. Netflix is one platform with multiple segments that they constantly appease. The other example is Disney World. Now, Disney resorts and theme parks offer one basic experience to all of their customers, or all of the park goers. Just think of what they have there. They have rides, quick service meals, parades, and they have shows that they put on. These experiences um, are had by different market segments. So you have children, you have parents, you have couples, you have grandparents. Disney, they don't tailor their basic experience to fit specific needs, but instead they market the experience differently based on the consumer's profile. Are there any questions? So the second strategy is the multiple products and multiple segments. This strategy can be highly effective if the different products meet a customer's specific needs, and it doesn't reduce inequality or raise the price and add to sales revenue. Essentially, the business that's in this or has this type of product will produce many different products to appease different segments. One example, as you can see on the slide, is Honda and their SUVs. When you go to a Honda dealer, you can see that there are many different models of vehicles. For example, there are a handful of different SUVs. There's the small HRV, the traditional crossover CRV, and the larger feature rich Pilot. Each is a different price point. It has different unique features and offers its own add on packages. There was also a different consumer in mind for each vehicle. Honda knew that all of the SUV drivers were the same or would have the same needs and budget. So they came up with different models that would be aligned with what consumers were searching for. The third strategy is mass customization. Contrary to the way it sounds, when a business mass customizes, they are looking to appeal to a segment of one. So just one segment that they're going after. Mass customization defined is tailoring products or services to the taste of individual customers on a high volume scale. So just think of an example of the Nike ID. With Nike ID, consumers can choose a pair of shoes, which Nike will then make based on their particular specifications. You can completely change the look of the shoe from the color of the toe and the mud grade to the pattern and material of the swoosh logo. It usually takes about 3 to 5 weeks for Nike to ship the customer shoes to you, which could look significantly different than someone else's who chose the same basic style. It's important to avoid cannibalization when you're segmenting the products. Cannibalization occurs when new products steal customers and sales from older products. In order to differentiate products and segment markets, marketers use a strategy called the Tiffany Walmart strategy. They offer the same basic product to high-end markets, so that would be the Tiffany segment. And then for the low-end markets, that's the Walmart segment, but at a different price point. So they're offering almost the same exact product, but they're just changing the price and making more money off of the same thing. So some examples of that would be like Old Navy, Gap, and Banana Republic. Those are all owned by the same company and they sell jeans. If you buy a pair of jeans at Old Navy though, it's going to cost less than what you would pay at the Gap or at Banana Republic. If you buy your jeans at Banana Republic, they're going to cost more than the Gap as well as Old Navy. So again, this is another way to segment the market. You have pretty much the same product, but you're pricing it differently based off of the store that it's in. Segmentation takes a total market and breaks it down into the target market. The top of the market funnel is very large, but it becomes narrower and manageable after segmentation occurs. This narrowing of the funnel occurs through four different four different things. It's demographics, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral. So the first one we're going to discuss is geographic, and that's breaking a market down based on locational factors such as what region, what country, what zip codes you're in. So an example of that would be McDonald's, where you have McDonald's all around the world. In the United States, one of the bigger selling sandwiches would be the Big Mac. In India, you have the McSpicy Paneer, which it doesn't sound too appetizing for me, but some people might like it. But it's pretty much cottage cheese that's fried that has lettuce and some other sauce on it. Doesn't sound delicious to me, but that's one of the top selling sandwiches in India. Another one would be the burger that they have in Hong Kong. That one is similar to the fillet of fish in the United States, only they use a shrimp patty and they have their own special sauce and they put lettuce on it. And then another one, which sounded pretty interesting to me, would be the one that's in Australia with it's called the Big Breaky Burger. That one it's a breakfast sandwich. Actually, to me, it looked like something I would eat for lunch or something for dinner, but there's a beef patty on it with eggs, barbecue sauce, cheese, and a hash brown. So I guess with the eggs and the hash brown, that kind of makes it a breakfast sandwich, but it has barbecue sauce as well as a beef patty on it. So I guess you probably could eat it all throughout the day, but this is a big breakfast sandwich that's over in Australia. So the next way that they segment markets is by demographics. Demographics is used, that's when you break down a market based on personal attributes such as the gender, the age, the income level, and the education level, and all different things. You can see in this graph how it's broken down and how they segment different customers in the different markets. Now, one that some people might get confused between with demographic is the psychographic. So the psychographic is breaking down a market based on personalities related to interest, lifestyles, attitudes. So if you can see, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger on your screen. So you see on one side, you have the demographics where you have their age, their family structure, their profession. But on the psychographic side, it's more of the interest that people have or the opinion. So the same person is going to be broken down two different ways based off of demographics as well as psychographics. So although it's a female, 32 years old, that works in the medical field, this person also loves dogs, likes music, enjoys going on vacations or holidays, and is a soccer fan. So that's psychographic versus demographic. Try not to get those two confused or mixed up when you're doing market segmentation. And then the fourth segmentation breakdown is the behavioral. That's breaking down a market based on how consumers act, such as their nature, their actual behavior, and buying patterns. An example of this would be the pizza chain Marco's and how they send out emails based off of the day of the week. So Marco's basically all throughout the week from Sunday to Thursday or Saturday, well, Sunday to Friday, or not Friday, Sunday to Thursday, they generally don't send out emails to their customers because generally people aren't buying pizza as much as they do on Fridays or Saturdays. So they send out their emails based off of the customers or their customer traffic, which Friday and Saturdays, those are the big times. So they're going to send out emails based off of that. Any questions? All right, so that's all we're going to discuss as far as market segmentation. I emailed the case to you on Saturday, so you have the case. Make sure you do questions number one, number two, and number three. I said that if we had a special guest or speaker, that you would be able to turn it in tomorrow evening as opposed to this evening. So since we did have a guest, um, the due date and time for the project to be turned in is going to be tomorrow, April 6th, 2021, by 11:59 p.m. Just make sure that you're including the correct heading for the project. Uh, a couple of groups have not been putting the correct heading, so they've been losing points because they're not doing the correct heading. Make sure you use the correct heading. Also, during your group meeting sessions, if you get done sooner, and you want to have a one-on-one check-in, or if you provide feedback before the class session's over, I'll be available for one-on-one check-ins if you want. And then as far as the weekly journal entry, it's the same as the previous weeks, where you're going to discuss what you learned in today's class, and if there's anything that I need to review in next week's class session. I'm expecting at least 50 words for that. Any questions?